Hello, my name is Dorian Howell, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about financial aid. And this is just me and greet. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, parents. Welcome, students. And let's see how you. There's a few things. This is not a quiz. This is just fact finding, information gathering. Okay, what this is just a brief overview on steps that you need to do for whether you go to a in-state college, out-of-state college, private, public, university. All of them will require this. And what this is not is I'm not going to be requiring or requesting like social security, passport, or in-depth information that some student aid will require some forms of proof of identification, different grants as well, and even the federal side might request clarification on things. First thing we're going to talk about is called studentaid.gov, which this website, you have to have an account for it. Parents, you have to have an account as well. It can't be just one account. The students have to have an account and make sure that the student's account is in their social security number, and also your social security number is on your account. Don't mix up that. Don't mix up the emails. Emails are a lot easier than social security numbers, and that's how you want to do it. What the Student Aid Gov website is it's a federal website, and this is the first step for if you're going to a private school, public school, university, college. This is going to be your first step, and it's going to allow you to fill out the free application. Again, it's free to do it, doesn't cost you money, doesn't hurt your child later on down the road with financial aid. It is the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA for short. Okay, once you fill it out, it's going to have many different steps, and we'll touch upon it. Once you complete the FAFSA, you might get the Pell Grant, which is a grant that as long as your student attends college and doesn't drop out, it would be free money towards the student. And then also it is optional, keyword optional, federal student loans, and also if needed, a Parent Plus loan, and then Grad Plus loan is for master students or above. Okay. And really, it's simply going through, they're not trick questions. The one question that I see parents and students doing wrong is the homeless question on the FAFSA. Is the student homeless? And it really, you have to have documentation for the whole year of that they're homeless, or statements. There's many different aspects on that. And just by doing the FAFSA doesn't mean that your child has gotten approved for the student loans and stuff like that. There's many different steps for that as well. Okay, it's not just doing FAFSA. Oh, there's loans, and it's not in the parent's name unless you're doing a Parent Plus loan. And basically, like what I said, FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And like I said, it's going to be the student must create one in their social security number. And then most of the time, it's one parent that needs to create an account if you guys marry filed jointly. If you don't do that, then you're going to possibly need to have both parents having an account. And on a little bit, and basically everyone has to have an account. It does take a bit of time sometimes for the account itself to be verified. Sometimes it takes up to 3 days for the student aid count to be verified. And then, so basically, parents, students create the account together, wait 3 days, then apply for your FAFSA. And it does take, it's not automatically sent to the schools. It does take about 3 days. It could take up to even longer than that for the FAFSA to get to the school and be processed. And there could be extra verification. You might be selected for verification for numerous reasonings for it. And it's simple documentation. And you just have to be aware that your school is going to ask you for verification documents. And if you failure to do it, means you won't be able to get that fast. Most of the time, what do you guys need for, let's use the example 26, 27 FAFSA? Okay, student, we're going to be, the FAFSA is going to use the taxes 2 years prior. So that's the 2024 taxes. If the student never worked, didn't file taxes that year, you're fine. You might need a document from the IRS saying that you're a non-tax filer if needed. Parents, you're going to might need to have your 24 taxes. Most of the time, it pulls up it already automatically using the FAFSA website. Both students and parents will need a driver's license or ID. A lot of times you'll need another set of documentations of proof of residency. You know, sometimes you don't need to, sometimes depending on the university or college. Um, Pasco, literally, you'll require a second form of identification a lot of times for you to get the in-state tuition. Passport is another form of identifications. Okay, those are common documents you might need for most students. Unless you're international, there could be other documents. Can I go to school? And really, once you complete the FAFSA, there's going to be what's called a Student Aid Index score. The lower the score, the better, with negative 1500 being the best score possible for you to get. And the lower the score, meaning the more options of Pell you will be able to get. And the Pell will be shown on the completion screen, the total number for the academic year, which most of the time what you do is you basically take whatever number you get there, where it will say you're eligible for Pell of, for example, $7,395, which is the maximum that a student can be got. And you basically do it, divide it in half. So for the first semester, if you are full-time enrolled, which is 12 credit hours, your student will be able to receive $3,698 for that first semester. And then if they're full-time enrolled for their second semester, they'll be able to get $3,697 for the year. Okay. And if they, it's up to them whether they want to be full-time enrolled or go all the way to one class. And then the Pell gets prorated per how many credit hours you're taking. And that's the basically, you want to understand the college cost, tuition, housing, meals. We have it publicly listed, how much tuition is cost. And then you also want to keep in the back of your head the indirect costs, books, transportation, personal expenses. A lot of times books are like $100. Some classes like Spanish or anatomy and physiology can be a lot higher. And that's what we use as our calculation for costs of attendance, the indirect and direct costs for schooling. A lot of times you can, with the federal student aid FAFSA that you use, you get the option of Pell. You can also apply to be work study, so you can work on campus if it's available. And then you can get in-state grants, institutional scholarships, and like I said, federal loans. Not much to add there. Um, you do have to have the FAFSA most of the time to receive any type of scholarships, local scholarship, like I said, institutional scholarships. There's national database for scholarships, and definitely apply early and often. And if you haven't gotten a rejection for a scholarship, might be time to follow up with them as well. And Q&A here, that you might have some questions about your high school grades. Depending on your high school grades, you could be qualifying for many other things. There's also Florida Prepaid, Bright Futures, many different things, but this presentation is designed for just simply talking about student aid, the website, because that is the first step for student, you know, for you gain your student in college or university. Any questions? And if you don't have any, you can always contact me. Here's my email, and I'm happy to help you and your student with answering any questions. Thank you very much.